Mark Zuckerberg arrives in the Stone Age with one spear, one animal skin vest, and absolutely zero idea what is happening. He stands at the edge of a clearing. Across from him, a tribe of prehistoric humans stares back. Nobody moves. A bird screams somewhere in the distance, which feels on the nose. Mark locks eyes with the largest man in the group, a man holding a spear the size of a small tree. Mark looks at the spear, looks at the man, looks at his own spear, which he is holding upside down. He clears his throat. I would like to add you as a friend. The man tilts his head. Mark points to himself, then to the man. Friend request. The man interprets this as a declaration of ritual combat and lets out a sound that is 90% chest cavity. Mark pulls his hand back so fast he nearly dislocates his own shoulder. The first friend request in human history. Declined. Worse, possibly about to result in a stabbing. He gets dragged to the fire instead. The whole tribe forms a circle and examines him the way you'd examine something weird you found under a rock. Pale skin, soft hands, slightly hunched posture, the kind you develop after 15 years of staring at a monitor. A face that permanently reads, I am prepared to testify before Congress, but I would rather not. A small child runs over and pokes him in the arm, squeezes, frowns, turns back to his mother and says something. Mark does not speak the language, but the subtext is obviously low meat content, not worth the effort. Mark begins to panic. Here is the thing about friendship in the Stone Age that nobody on Mark's product team ever put in a roadmap. It was not fast, it was not digital, and it absolutely could not be requested with one tap. Anthropologist Kim Sterelny, studying the social structure of early human groups, found that trust between individuals in prehistoric communities was built almost entirely through repeated, low-stakes acts of physical cooperation, carrying things together, sharing tools, sitting near each other during meals for weeks before anyone committed to anything deeper. Not a button, not a notification. A slow, grinding, uncomfortable accumulation of, this person has not yet tried to steal my food or leave me to die. Friendship as a process, not a feature. Mark obviously does not have weeks. He has about 4 minutes before the tribe decides he is a liability. His first move is to attempt value demonstration. He picks up a stick and draws in the dirt. A diagram, a social graph, nodes and connections. He points at various tribe members and draws lines between them to indicate existing relationships. The tribe watches this performance with the expression of people watching someone very confidently do something very wrong. The chief walks over, looks at the diagram, and then steps on it. Meeting adjourned. Mark's second move is content creation. He mimes a short comedy piece, specifically an impression of the large man from earlier trying to add him as a friend. He does the head tilt, he does the chest noise, he does his own terrified hand retraction. Somebody laughs, then a few more people laugh. And there it is, the first organic reach he has achieved without an algorithm in his entire adult life. And it feels bizarrely good in a way 3 billion monthly active users somehow never did. He is allowed to stay near the fire. Not inside the circle yet. Near it. Think of it as a Facebook account with restricted posting privileges. By day 3, Mark has fully mapped the tribe's social architecture in his head because watching how humans cluster and connect is genuinely the only skill he has that translates across 40,000 years. He knows who the connector is, the older woman who moves between every subgroup without friction. He knows who the lurker is, a quiet man on the edge who watches everything and contributes nothing. He knows who is 3 bad days away from getting voted out. He also knows who is running a scam. There is a man near the eastern edge of camp who has been holding court every afternoon with a handful of mushrooms. His pitch, translated loosely, these mushrooms cure everything: headache, bone pain, sadness, all of it. 2 rabbit pelts per mushroom, limited supply, act now. Mark watches several tribe members trade pelts. He watches the shaman, the closest thing the tribe has to a moderator, observe this and do nothing. Mark goes to the chief. That man is selling poison, he explains through gesture and increasingly wild facial expression. Those mushrooms will make people sick. He is a fraudster. I'm reporting him. The chief considers this gravely, holds a small council, returns with the verdict. We have reviewed the content and found no violation of community standards. Mark stares. The mushroom man, emboldened, upgrades his pitch to, these mushrooms also prevent mammoth attacks. Mark, furious, grabs a flat piece of bark and spends an hour carving a detailed warning illustration. Skull, mushroom, arrow, dead stick figure, very clear, very informative. He props it up at the center of camp. Within 10 minutes, the chief's deputy taps him on the shoulder. Your content may be promoting fear and division within the community. The warning sign gets turned face down. Mark sits with this for a long time. On day 5, something shifts. Not because Mark does anything clever, because he stops trying to be useful at scale and starts being useful to one person. An older man near the fire is struggling to start a flame in damp wood, working at it alone, getting nowhere. Mark sits down next to him and just tries to help, badly, for a long time. They fail together for about an hour. Eventually, the fire catches. The man hands Mark a piece of dried meat. That is it. That is the whole transaction. No like button. No reciprocity notification. Just 2 people who failed at the same thing and ended up warm because of it. Research on early human cooperation, including work from the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology, suggests that one of the most reliable markers of genuine friendship formation in hunter-gatherer groups was shared failure and shared risk. Specifically, the experience of going through something difficult together and surviving it. Not shared success, not shared resources, shared difficulty. The logic being that when you suffer alongside someone, you learn something about their character that no calm interaction can reveal. Modern friendship, optimized for frictionless positive experience, quietly removed all the shared difficulty. You ended up with connections that felt warm on the surface and meant very little when the stakes were real. Mark is beginning to understand this slowly, the hard way, which is apparently the only way it works. By the end of the week, he has a small orbit of people who tolerate him. He has been assigned a task, carrying water, because it is the lowest skill job available and even he cannot mess it up. He has learned that the mushroom scammer is still operating freely while his warning bark got snapped in half. He has learned that the child who called him low-meat content has started following him around with what might be admiration or might be ongoing research into exactly how soft a grown human can be. He has not launched anything. He has not scaled anything. He has not optimized the tribe's engagement metrics or A/B tested a new fire configuration. He has just shown up every day and done the small, unglamorous work of being present. And somewhere in that, without a single algorithm deciding who should see it, he ended up connected. No Wi-Fi, no followers, no blue check mark. Just a man in an animal skin vest, sitting close enough to the fire that it almost counts as inside the circle, watching a tribe talk about their day. The mushroom guy is still running his scam. Mark's warning bark is still face down in the dirt. Nothing about this system is fair, but he is warm. And that apparently was the whole product all along.